How are you? How's it going? My name is Tiphanie Cannon, and I'm the owner of Oh So Sweet Bakery here in downtown Davenport. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here with Downtown Davenport Partnership with our Between Two Bridges series. And what the Between Two Bridges series is all about is that Downtown Davenport wants to highlight different business owners and their expertise in the different areas, in the different businesses they own. So they have asked me to participate, and I'm so thankful that they asked. And I'm here today to take some of the mystery out of bread baking and teach everybody in the Quad Cities or wherever you're watching from how to make bread. So, and then also we're going to parlay that into how to make the perfect sandwich. So it kind of works, and we think we're going to have a lot of good lessons for everybody today. And then while I'm talking and showing, the fun part about this is that it's interactive and that you can ask questions while I'm doing the process. So if you're watching at home or watching with friends at work, on your lunch break, and you've really been interested in bread baking or bread making, and you've always kind of wondered how to do it, you can get on your phone and type your questions, and then they'll let me know what the questions are, and then I'll try to answer them as we go. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we need to do, of course, to make bread is you start with yeast, warm water, and sugar. Okay, so sometimes you'll read a bread recipe and it says to take the temperature of the water, and it has to be no hotter than 110 degrees. Well, you know, not very many people at home have a thermometer that they can or want to stick in the water, just because it's not something that everybody wants to go out and buy. They don't have it at home. Let's say it's a Sunday and you want to make some bread, but you don't have a thermometer. That should not stop you from making bread. So the key to figuring out temperature of the water for bread baking, and I have my water, yeast, and sugar right here, is would you stick a baby in it? So you would not stick a baby in cold water, and you would not stick a baby in hot water. And the yeast is kind of the same thing. The yeast is your baby. So we're not going to put the yeast in the cold water because the cold water won't wake the yeast up. And then if we put the yeast in hot water, the yeast is going to die. So you're going to kill the yeast and or the baby, right? So what you want to do is take lukewarm water, and what we literally do is we just stick our finger in it. And if it feels like you would put a baby in a bathtub, then the water temperature is correct. So what we do is we'll put the yeast in the warm water, and the warm water will wake up the yeast, and then we add some sugar as well. And then what the sugar does, the sugar tells the yeast it's time to party. Let's go. Let's get this popping. And so you can see our yeast mixture right here. We call this at Oh So Sweet, this is a very technical term. We call this swampy. Okay. So when we start cinnamon rolls or bread or anything that has yeast in it, we look for that swampiness. And all that tells us is that the yeast is ready to party. So once it starts to bubble, it's ready for flour. So from here, once your water, yeast, and sugar is ready, you're going to pour it in a mixer fitted with a hook attachment. Can you see? That's our hook. And then what you're going to do is add bread flour. The bread flour just has more gluten in it, which is going to make your bread even bigger and better. So once you add your bread flour, then you just turn it on. And what you want to happen is the dough to pull away from the bowl and become one cohesive, beautiful ball of dough. Okay, so after that is mixed, you want to let it proof. And what does that mean? That means that you want it to be looking like this, okay? So here's our dough pre-proof that I didn't mix all the way because I didn't want the loud mixer to be going the whole entire time. So you can see the difference between the two, right? So this dough has not been proofed, and this dough is definitely proofed. So that shows us that the yeast is awake, the yeast is working, everything's ready to go, okay? So once you get your dough proofed and it doubles in size, so how are you going to get this to happen? There's two ways. You can either leave it on like a warm surface. We place ours in about a 250-degree oven. And what that does is it kind of speeds everything up. The yeast likes it nice and warm. You can set it on top of the oven, or you can just have, if it's summer, your house might be warm enough. You just want a warm spot in order for that to be big and beautiful like that. Okay, so once it doubles in size, we just flip it out. This is really very easy. We just flip it out. Yeah, look at that. It's beautiful. Does anybody else get excited about dough besides me? Probably not. We're going to divide it in half. It's a little sticky. Can you get me some flour real fast? Okay, so you can see it sticking to my hands. Christine's going to grab me some flour, and I'm going to show you really quickly how to knead it. Okay. Thank you. So I'm just going to add a little bit extra flour on my surface. There we go. And to my hands. That's it. Okay, so in order to knead the dough or the bread, you just want to push it with the palm of your hand and turn it clockwise. So push and turn. I'm just going to add a little bit more. Push and turn, push and turn, push and turn, push and turn. So what you're doing, I'm working all the air bubbles out. Yeah?
Wendy wants to know, how long does that take, this process?
This?
Yeah.
Well, it depends how many you do, if you've done in your lifetime. It takes us maybe 20 seconds. It might take a home baker a little bit longer. Is that what they need?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like, how long should I be kneading this?
Oh, there's no specific time. So once the dough comes together and it looks like a loaf, like I've done right here, that looks like a loaf, you just put it in. There's no set amount of time. Can you give me a wet towel? Okay, I'm going to do the second one here. And again, it's just a tad bit sticky. Look, it's just sticking. So all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of extra flour so it doesn't stick. That was a good question, Wendy, because, you know, honestly, I always thought that making bread was so that was not something I wanted to do, because when you read about making bread in cookbooks, it seems so technical, and it can be, but really to make a nice loaf of bread for your family or for your kids' lunches, it's not hard. And really, it's pretty easy. So you can see I did push, turn, push, turn, push, turn, push, turn, push, turn until I kind of rolled it together. The seam is on the bottom, and there it is. And then we just put it in the bread pans. Okay, so from here, we have to let it have a second rise, okay? So you can see this. So you want to do the same thing. You want to put it in either a warm oven, or you want to put it somewhere warm so that it puffs up. I'm just going to clean up really quickly. So that it puffs up and is big and beautiful. So we don't bake it from here. What we do is we let it rise again, and it should look like this. Okay? So you can see the difference. And again, depending on how warm you have it, so if you place it in a warm oven, it's going to puff up faster than if you just leave it out. But you can leave it out. But our signal here at Oh So Sweet is that once it kind of puffs up and it's kind of coming over the edge, that's when we know it's ready to bake. Because once you bake this, it's not going to rise much more. It's going to hold that shape. So however big you want your loaf of bread to be, that's when you should bake it off. So we would bake this off, right? Does that make sense? Okay, are there any questions?
You might have answered this one, but how long till the proof occurs?
It just depends on how warm you want it to double in size. So the first proof you want to double in size. The second proof depends on how big you want your bread. So when you see it, and really it depends on how warm your environment is. So, yeah. Okay, any other questions?
That's all right now.
So when we bake our bread, it looks like this, and it's big and beautiful. And then we cut it, and we get ready to make the perfect sandwich, which I'm going to show you today. So here at Oh So Sweet, we have a big lunch menu. Not a lot of people know that, but we have a lot of sandwiches to choose from, and we like to think that we're able to take an ordinary sandwich and make it extra special. And there's nothing special about the meats. There's nothing special about our veggies. There's nothing special about our cheeses. What makes a sandwich special, here's the secret, are the condiments. So here at Oh So Sweet, we think the condiments are the star of the show. So for instance, we make our own homemade ranch. We make a homemade garlic dressing. We make caramelized onions. We make bacon jam. We make homemade guacamole. And that to us is what makes the sandwich sing. It makes it unique, and it makes it extra, extra delicious. So here today, the first sandwich that I want to show you how to make is our hog heaven, okay? So I'm just gonna take 2 slices of bread, and this would be, I don't know if anybody's ever had the hog heaven, but it's probably our number 2 seller, would you say? Okay, so this is just gonna start like any other sandwich. So we have 2 slices of bread, and this is just mayonnaise. So I'm gonna put mayonnaise on both sides. And you can totally do this at home, okay? All right, so it's just mayo, and then look, we just add ham. Everybody has ham, right? And then we add lettuce and tomato. So you're just like, whatever, this is just a regular sandwich, right? And then we add some cheese. And here's the interesting part, right? So this is our homemade bacon jam. And this is what we think sets us apart from a regular ham mayo lettuce tomato sandwich. And the bacon jam, I can smell it, and I haven't eaten yet today, and it smells so good. And then we flip it over, just like that. And then we cut it. And there's the hog heaven. So we just took a regular ham, cheese, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise sandwich, and we took it up a few notches with the condiment, which was the bacon jam, okay? Now let's talk about a BLT. So you can make a totally normal BLT at home, right? So we're gonna do the same thing. Normally you toast the bread for the BLT, but if you don't like to, you don't have to. So we are adding mayo. We always add mayo. And then, of course, we have bacon, lettuce, tomato. But we're going to take it up a little bit. So we add turkey. We like turkey with ours. Here's our lettuce. And how we change this up is that we add our garlic dressing. Have you had this sandwich?
Jason's favorite.
Is it your favorite? It's real good, isn't it? So we take it from a regular BLT to, oh, this bottle. This bottle, the lid doesn't fit. It's fun. So we take it from a regular BLT to a notorious BLT with the garlic dressing. You will probably need a mint, but it'll be worth it. If you were to do this at home, you could add any kind of garlic dressing you wanted. You could make your own. You could go to the store and get like a bottle of garlic dressing, and then we cut it. So BLT, and it's nothing crazy. Like everybody, oh yeah, look at that. That's the money right there. That's the good stuff. And that's our notorious BLT. And then the last one we're gonna demo, let me just wipe this. Okay, the last one we're gonna demo is our big beef, which is a roast beef sandwich. So what makes this different, again, is we make a homemade horseradish sauce. And we like to think that makes it extra special. It's a little bit spicy, which people seem to really like. And then we add our roast beef. How's that look? And then we add Swiss cheese. Normally we add cheddar, but we're out of cheddar because we're closed today. And then we add our tomato. Wouldn't this be a perfect Sunday fall activity to make some bread and to make sandwiches for your whole entire family? If you make 2 loaves of bread, the extra bread is perfect for French toast. You can make bread pudding, whatever you wanted to do. So how is this different than a regular just roast beef sandwich? Well, we make it extra delicious with the condiment again. And so you can see the horseradish on there. So it's like a little tiny mini steak sandwich. So that is that. So really with anything, so like take for instance our Clock Norris, which is our #1 seller. So that's just chicken, bacon, cheese, and lettuce. And what makes that set apart is that we add avocado and then a homemade ranch. And so that kind of takes it from, you know, a basic sandwich to up there. And then we have our raspino too. I know a lot of people are afraid to put chips on their sandwich, but you should try it because it's extra delicious. So we have our raspino, which is like a twist on sweet and spicy, which you can totally do at home. So we have raspberry jam, jalapeno aioli, turkey lettuce, and jalapeno chips. So, and that's how we like it. Are there any other questions or anything else here that we need to discuss or?
Nope, they just said the sauces sound amazing.
Yeah, they're good and they're easy to do. So, you know, if you want to make a Fiesta Club at home, which is turkey, lettuce, tomato. All you need to do to make a Fiesta Club at home is get your hands on some guacamole or make some guacamole. If you make the turkey, lettuce, bacon, tomato, you could also turn it from a Fiesta Club into the Notorious BLT just by changing the condiment. If you wanted to take the raspino and add bacon jam to it, that takes it up another level. So, yeah. Okay, I feel like that was easy.
I have a question.
Okay.
Slicing your bread, if you don't have an electric knife, how do you do it without smashing it?
Well, I would wait until it's set up. So that's a really good question. He asked how to slice the bread if you don't have an electric knife, which is no problem. Normally, you would have like a longer, very serrated bread knife to do it, but you cannot slice it while it's warm. Your instinct is to want to slice it the second it comes out of the oven. If you do that, it's just gonna collapse and it's gonna be a nightmare. So what you can do, Jason, that was a really good question, is just, so this is totally set up. This is a cool, we baked this before, this knife. If you don't have this knife, then I don't know. I really don't know. Just use whatever knife you have that has teeth, I would say. And then make sure, you don't want them too thick. Or maybe you do, I don't know. But yeah, you would just go like that. The teeth will grab the crust and it'll make your life so much easier. But yeah, just like that. We're just in a hurry here at Oh So Sweet because we want to get people out the door. And so, we just use the electric knife just because it's faster. Okay, any other questions?
That's it.
Okay, that was so easy. Come to Oh So Sweet for lunch. We got you. We have really yummy sandwiches. And if you have any questions about bread baking or bread making, you can send them to Oh So Sweet's Facebook page, and I'll try and answer them the best I can. My advice would be don't kill the yeast and don't overthink it and have fun with it. So, okay, thank you, everybody. Have a good day.